So we will discuss all about these things. And if you see that what kind of research investment trends are there, you will find many times you will told that government is not giving so much money to agriculture and or other allied sectors of for the research. But if you compare with the 2010 to the 2016-17, which is the last data of economic survey, you will find that every year we are in the increasing trend. And in ICR, particularly for the agriculture, we are also getting a maximum share during the 2016-17 as compared to the 2010-11. Here you can see for CSIR is also equal to or just less to the ICR, while DRDO and other DBT, DST, these are also getting the money for the research expenditures. So this is the research trends, and this is the very brief for that how we will go for the projects. But if it comes to the research output trends, what kind of research output we are getting, you will find that in US, UK, Japan, Korea, Brazil, China, everywhere, you will find that what is the share of GDP on the R&D. You will find in US is approximate at par to 3%, while if you compare with the Japan, it's more than 3. In Korea, it is more than 4. See in the China, approximate 2. But in India, if you see the share of GDP on the research and development is less than 1%. It's around 0.8% only. And if you see the gross domestic expenditure per researcher in thousands, then you will find it is the data of 2013, and you will find that in India it is 201.8 only, while we are investing more in the 313 in US, and just below that the China that is having 195.4 GRD, that is the gross domestic expenditure on RD. If you after expending so much money on the research, what kind of publications are there, the share of publications, if you see that there are publications in, if US you will compare, then it is the 25.3% share is there. And if you come to the China, it is 20. And if you come to the India, it is only 4.2%. And if you see the patents per million population, you will find in US 910, Japan you can see more than 3,000, Korea more than 4,000, and India we are getting the 17 only, yes, patents per million of populations. So our research projects should be very, very accurate, having the good kind of priorities should be there. And if you see the core areas of research expenses, if you seeing the spending by cost category during last 5-6 years, 2008 to 14, you will find that maximum share of particularly we are discussing about the agriculture, so we are discussing the ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. You will see that maximum share of the expenditure is going on the salaries. You can see that part, that is the maximum share is with the salary. Operating cost is another one, and then the lesser is the capital investment. So this is the ratio that how we are spending. So our maximum spendings are on our salaries part. So if you see the different countries, what they are giving, and what is their source of research funds are there, how much sources they are getting. If you see very surprising results, you will find, I think many you know that what kind of performance was there. It was in the 2015, and you can see that only India where we are depend maximum research funds on the government, then it is on the public sector, then it is the university and others. And if you see in the other, particularly European countries like Germany, you will find that the private sector, they are playing the major role in funds for the research, and they are giving to these to the universities or their own R&D institutes. So you can see that part of university is also higher in the Germany, Korea, US, and everywhere. It's very less in India. So maximum share in India is with the government share, where we are getting for R&D, research and development. So just we have to start with the what is the research project. So our entire 21 days training program is going on the this how the research projects are framed, and So I think this is already you have covered, but a project is designed to answer focused research questions that addresses a particular problem, a gap in knowledge, a pragmatic need, etc. So project, how you, when you are framing any project, and even not a project, if you are taking this that projects are only for external funded, no, projects, your in-house projects are there where you are working with some kind of research you are doing, that is also a research project, which is your in-house project. And if some of your students which are doing PhD or MSc, they are also doing one project, that is the for their dissertation project is there, so this is also a research project. So everywhere from MSc PhD student to the or externally funded big projects, kind of World Bank project, kind of other countries collaborative projects, you can everywhere you have to treat it as a research project. So it is designed, any kind of dissertation or any kind of project is designed to answer a focused research question. Anything, particularly if you take in rapeseed mustard where I'm working, if one disease is there, so how this disease is giving losses to the crop. So we are discussing about the how we can manage this disease. So there is a question that we are having this kind of disease and it is causing losses. So this is the research question that addresses a particular problem, a gap in a knowledge. Suppose our stakeholders, which are the farmers, are there, if and they are taking some kind of their indigenous, or they are not using any kind of fungicide or biocides, then there is a gap in the knowledge. They don't know that what kind of seed treatment is there. So if we provide a seed treatment kind of thing, a pragmatic need, kind of pragmatic needs is kind of a basic things which can we can provide them. So this is a kind of project designation, and how this designed we will discuss in later, and what kind of research types will be there, kind of basic research are there, applied, strategic, descriptive, explanatory, explorative, many types of research are there, which are depending on different scientific or other kind of organizations are there. So now we comes to the scientific methods. So what is the scientific method? How science works? Everyone, you know, you are all are in the science, so you know that interactive process of how scientists ask and answer the question, and it will be on the based on evidence, logical reasoning. So first one is the identify a significant problem from a observation and raise a meaningful research question. Means if you are in the field in your area, or if you are anywhere with your livestock, and you find that this kind of a problem is common and it is a significant problem in all area where you are working, so this will be a significant problem. Not kind of a one farmer is having any one problem is there and in entire region this is not a problem, so you are not think that you have to do for that particular part of research on that. So significant should be the problem. It means it should be in a entire area or somewhere the losses are more are there. So then what kind of research question is there? Then develop a hypothesis as a tentative. We have developed to take a hypothesis only. So then you make a tentative answer to that question, that if this is a problem, then what kind of solution should be there, kind of agronomic practices, kind of any fungicides, kind of any insecticides, or kind of any change in the microclimate of the crop. So a hypothesis we have to develop, then design a experiment. So taking all these hypotheses, we have to design, we have to take that row to row spacing, we have to increase, or plant to plant spacing, crop geometry we have to change, or some microclimate we have to protect the crop from any kind of hail, storms or frost like that. So you test your what you hypothesis you have framed, you have to test them. This is the experiment. So you do all kind of experiments with these hypotheses and then analyze the data, what kind of observations you taken. It may be in favor of your hypothesis, or it may be not in favor of your hypothesis. So accept or reject the hypothesis will be there in analysis. And in last, when you concluded, and if your hypothesis is right or if your hypothesis is not right, then you have to publish a peer review. You can also know, never it is there that you 100% success or positive will be there in the research. Many times many failures are there in results, are not kind of that you have studied. So you have to publish that one also, that this is not related that you have taken. So in the part of research publication, we are taking the discussion part, we are taking in publications. So in discussions, we can give all this kind of or kind of observations we have found that one. So how science works is that it is there. And now we starts with the PME, that is the priority setting, monitoring and evaluation of the research projects. So what is the PME? PME is there in not in a research projects only. In everywhere the PME is there, and PME is working very effectively. And this is an effective management tool to assist the research managers for priority based resource allocation. Means if fundings are given by the any DST, DBT or kind of ICR or any other funding agency, they will see that what kind of priority they have taken. Then monitoring and evaluation of research projects. This is also part of PME. So what it will do, it will enhance the accountability. It will accountability, your project's accountability in the National Agriculture Research System. So we are discussing about the agriculture research particularly. Many your participants are from other agriculture other than the agriculture sector. So you can take in your account also that what kind of functions your parental organizations they are doing. So it is a effective management tool for the priority setting. So how this needs arises particularly for the PME. One is the shift in research strategy. Means we have to go for macro to micro level. Means from a big picture to the small picture. Kind of if you are taking some, we know that what kind is the macro is the big and micro is the smaller part is there. So macro and micro level, suppose earlier we are using the urea particularly for the nitrogen deficiency. So we recommended that we have to give the urea in particular crop, how much kilogram per hectare. But now after all this, our research is also focusing on nutrient use efficiency, how we are using the nutrients and what kind of crop we are taking the nutrients that is take absorption by the soil. So we are taking the nitrogen use efficiency or micronutrient use efficiency. So that goes to the micro level. Top down to bottom strategy. So top down means it is there from that from a big part, it is divided into the smaller parts. So suppose a big problem is there that oil seed production and is not increasing as we desired. So what kind of we are doing, that is the big problem. So we divide into the different kind of particular oil seed crops, like it is one of mustard, another is soybean, another is groundnut. And in particular mustard, what kind of things are there which is in we have to take for our research strategy, like some diseases are there, biotic problems are there, some abiotic problems are there which is influencing the yield of the crop. So we go from top down, means we break the bigger problem to in the smaller portions. And bottom up means if we are getting any solution, if we are having a solution of a particular disease, we are having a solution of some insects, we are having some abiotic stress, then we will club all these small parts and make a strategy in a big way. So this is the top down to bottom up strategy. Then centralized to decentralized and participatory mode means centralized means if one person is there in a project, means your PI is there and he is taking all the decisions, other co-PIs and other part of your research projects, they are not working as uh, frequently to take the research in your kind of sharing. So decentralize that one means if you're having a one person is having all kind of things, then make a group kind of things will be there. So what kind of group or what kind of uh, teamwork will be there in the decentralized function, and it will be in the participatory mode. So that kind of research strategy should be there in the projects. Input expenditure orientation means that your what kind of input you are using, expenditures, then how it will convert to the output and outcome, and the impact, what kind of research impact is there. So one thing is the shift in research strategy and another is the shift in the focus. And focus should be the micro setting, Then improving efficiency of resources, what resources you are having, you have to improve their efficiency. Then moving beyond economic impact, means the social and environmental, you have to take all kind of impacts you have to see. Then improved financial management, means if you are getting some funds are there, so you have to manage all these your research work in the particular one, that it's not required again and again the increasing your budget. And the greater accountability, means it will be very visible to everyone that this project is giving such kind of results is there. Then increased relevance is also there. So how this PME prioritization monitoring evaluation is, how it starts, how it's need to start. One phase was in ICR is the pre-NATP phase. You know everyone that ICR technical cells was there, and these technical cells was assisted by the directors of the institutes. Then comes the NATP phase, where the 30 PME cells with scientists having relevant skills, they have made the 30 PME cells in different ICR institutes and SAUs. Then skill development program also started in NCAP, then became ineffective due to the lack of institutionalization at end. And then NAIP phase starts, and under this VPA's sub-projects are there, and 14 PME cells which functioned effectively were supported in selected ICR institutes. So like this, the evolution of PME started in the ICR. And when the integration and mainstream of PME was there in NAIP, then Professor S.L. Mehta committee recommendations that comes on the 2000 in 2010, and ICR efforts started in 2011, where the mandatory creation of PME cell in ICR institutes started. And then the creation of PMC, project monitoring committee, is also there in ICR institutes. Then after that, Professor M.L. Madan committee, which is revised the proforma for RPP1, RPP2 and RPP3. These RPP is the research project proformas, and these in ICR, which are the participants from ICR is there. They know that when you start your any kind of new project, then in-house project or externally from funded projects, you have to submit the RPP1. Then how many years it is running, that will be in the RPP2. Every year's progress will be submitted in the RPP2, and in when your project is completed, then you have to fill the RPP3. So all these performas are there, and now there is RPP4, where you have to study the impact of the projects. So this is very common with the ICR institutes, and one of PME manual is also developed with the help of different institutes. They have developed the PME manual. So this PME cell, that is the priority setting, monitoring and evaluation cell, is there in every institute. It is a composition that it's in charge is the principal scientist, and 1 to 3 different discipline scientists are there in the composition of PME. And the requirement is there is the secretarial assistant, some kind of technical for the assist the PME. And the functions of PME is the coordinate and synthesize recommendations of QRT, RSC, IRC, and vision document of institute or ICR recommendations for research priorities. That should be the coordinate and synthesize that recommendations. Annual updating and presenting the report to director for assigning research projects. Suppose some new scientist is joining, so he has to come to PME and see that what kind of vision is there and what kind of field where we have to work. So that will be presented in IRC, Institute Research Committee, with the RPP1. Coordinate and arrange for annual monitoring of ongoing projects, means that RPP2 evaluation is there, and RPP3 with the external experts is there. So coordinate and arrange the technology validation, impact assessment of successful technologies which is developed through the RPP3, means completion of the projects which is claimed by the scientist through the internal or external expert. Then regularly sensitizing and capacity building of research managers and scientists through capacity building programs, means different training programs. PME also recommend for scientists. Then maintaining a database on all publications, technologies developed, IPR project undertaken, So all these are the some main functions of the PME cell where we have done all this kind of work. So now we are coming to our main, that is the project management, how the research projects are managed in the prioritization and monitoring evaluation process. So what is there in the project management cycle? You see that it starts from the identify the priority areas. We will discuss one by one. Identify priorities areas, then prepare proposals, means the research project proposals you have to prepare, then review and modify the proposals after evaluation, and then approve proposals and allocate resource, then implement and monitor the progress, and after completion or completion of some objectives you have to evaluate the results and impact. So this is a cycle of research project. Now we are moving to prioritization. First part of the research project is the prioritization. What are your priorities? Number one, number two, number three. What are your priorities? And prioritization is simply the process of assigning priorities to things or tasks. Anything you want to prioritize in your institute, in your own work, in your home, everything, everywhere you have to prioritize in daily life also. So it depends on the goals and objective of the organization. If it comes to the research part and the institute, what are the goals and objective of your institute organization? Then theme, what themes you are working, what are the mandates are of your institute. So on that you have to prioritize your research. It should be the part of portfolio management at institute level and choice versus priorities at individual levels. So this is a kind of prioritization in a very macro level. And why we are prioritizing means the objective of research projects to national and international institutional priorities bring more objectivity in the scope of the project in such a way that a institute comes in clearly visible and measurable. So first, if you see that what kind of national priorities are there, if you are taking any research project, framing any project, you will see what kind of national priorities are there. If we are in the agriculture sector or in livestock sector, enhancing the agriculture production and productivity. This is the one of main thing which is our national priority. And you see that what kind of horticultural crops production or food productions are there, food crop productions are there, or pulses productions. Still we are lacking in the oil seed, but everywhere in the milk, livestock, we are self-sufficient. So enhancing agricultural production and productivity is one of the national priority. Then farmer welfare should be there, that we have to ensure. Then our theme of our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, by 2022, that is the doubling the farmer income. So how we will double, so our research programs focused in the way also that how we can increase the farmer income, poverty alleviation, then sustaining the environment. So this is the priorities, national priorities are there. Then you can come to your institute priorities, in particularly your institute priorities. So your institute includes some kind of area is there with kind of, if you are in some university is there, so you are having some jurisdiction of that university area is there. So what crops are there, what are the problems with there, what kind of livestock is there, what are the problems with the livestock are there. So such kind of you have to see the priorities are there and promote the innovation in the research. So when we are identifying the priority areas, then we have to take that national priority. You can see from the ICR vision document, then institute priorities, in your institute vision is there, then your recommendations from QRT, EFC, RAC documents are there, where you can find that what or seniors or what or instructors or what or advisors they have given that where we have to do the work. So you can see all these documents to see the priorities. Then pre-project scoping desk study to have a feel of the problem, constraints, and then relative. After taking all kind of your documents, you can just take a desk studies there. So you take, these are the problems and these are the constraints we are having. Then you see the importance of your work. Or you can go for the participatory rural appraisal, PRA, which many, you know that how PRA we are doing. If you are in the field and you are seeing what kind of problems are there, so you can take a PRA and you can take any. So not that particularly you have to do the PRA. You are all in adjoining area. They are KVKs are there, Krishi Vigyan Kendras are there. They are usually they are doing the PRA for the different crops, different kind of villages. They are doing the PRA. So from there you can, in the jerk meeting or any where the common platform is there, you can see their reports also, and you can take the priority areas of your research project. So when we come to the priority setting of the project, what steps will be there? It is not one time process is there. If you have to revise it to be taken at regular intervals. Inviting proposals from the scientists, that is the submission of RPP1, then presentation means in the divisional or institute seminar, then action taken on inputs, resource requirement, work plan, activity chart, and submission to PME cell. This is for your in-house projects, how you can do. Even for the external funding in your division, you can, after preparing the prioritization work you have completed, then you can go for a presentation and you take the input from other colleagues that what kind of improvement should be there in the project. Then planning, how you will plan documentation, it is required for numbering in the PME cell, identification of evaluator, submission of document, evaluation of the project which you are submitting, then compiled priority score and approved after discussion. So this is the priority where, and before we go for the how we can score for the these prioritization, we see that what deficiencies are there in this, not well linked to economic and development objectives, not relevant to the need to end users. Many times we will take the research projects which is not to the last end user, and that is not having any kind of use for the end user. So not geared to producing easily adaptable practices, such kind of treatments you have taken which is now best one and is not practiced by the farmer. So not easily adaptable practices proposed without paying due attention to resources they demand, then too many scarce resources. So trend to overlook the socio-economic and institutional constraints on adoption and recommendations. So what expectations we are having with the prioritization? So bring more objectivity in the scope, align with the objectives of the institute level, integrate such a way that institute outcome is clearly visible and measurable. Rationalize the allocation of resource to increase overall efficiency of the institute. Reduce biasness in the proposal. Many times you are giving, means there are teamwork is there, and you are particularly in one subject you are not taking any scientist, and you are from any discipline you are taking two scientists. You hope that we will do by that one. So this kind of biasness means it should be a very particularly framed project should be there in prioritization. Promote innovations in the research, not kind of just any kind of earlier you have seen anywhere kind of methodology and you repeat that one. So some innovations should be there in the research. Then integrate PME that to the research management project, means the PME should also be involved so that you can get more kind of things which are there. So criteria for priority setting, if it comes to the 1 to 10 scale. So this is the very already published with recommendations, and kind of 1 to 10 scales, it is 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest. Suppose 1, we have to come to the relevance of the research question. First one is the priority we are giving. So what kind of the research relevance is there? So you have seen the review literature, you see what kind of other institutes, what they are doing. You have taken the survey reports like PRA, and after that you have to give the marks. Kind of it is highly relevant to your question you have raised, then you can score 9 to 10. It is relevant, it is moderately relevant, it is not much relevant, it is no relevant. So kind you can marking this one. Then second one, the address the priority of the institute. National priority means all kind of documents you have seen, then you addressing. So does you have focus all that one to national objectives, you have seen what kind of production, productivity, exports of particular that one is there. Resilient of climate changes are there, water use efficiency, nutrient use efficiency, kind of visions you have seen. So if more than two national or institutional priorities are there, then you can mark 8 to 10. Then if two national or institutional priorities are there, then 5 to 7. Less than 2, then you have to mark 2 to 4. So such kind of you can do. You can take any kind of example, particularly of your crop specific, particularly for your livestock, where suppose I give you example of foot and mouth disease in the livestock. So it is national priority. Yes, everywhere in the country it is a big problem. So one is there, and if your institute is of for the livestock is there only, and so it is also your institutional priorities also there. So there are two national and institutional priorities are there. So such kind of addressing, you can see priorities of the institute at national levels and marked them. Then new innovativeness and expected in the study. So out of box creative idea is there in that research project, methods or practices. You can see that highly innovative, you can mark 9 to 10, and it is very common kind of, already you have seen that same methodology there, it's very common, so marked 1 to 2 points are there. Appropriateness of the design techniques for the question to be answered. So what kind of experimental designs, layout you have taken, how you are going for data collection, how your analytical tools will be there. So if these are very appropriate, you can mark 9 to 10, and if it requires major modification, you go by 1 to 2 marks. Then elements of bias address that we have already discussed. Suppose discover the disciplinary person bias exhibited by the project team members, such as one-sided, non-neutral, not open, prejudiced, and decisions to give preference to address issues. Even selecting the team members also. So no biasness is there, then go for 9 to 10, and if we bias to some extent, biased or highly biased, then you accordingly you can give the score to that one. Then adequacy of the scientist time allocation. So if we go for any research project, you have to see that what kind of in-house projects you are handling, what kind of external projects already you are having. So how much time you will spare in the new project. So how much sufficient time you can allocate, means it is more than 10, 15%, 25%. Sufficient time allocation only by the PI, not by co-PI. Insufficient time allocation, both PI or non co-PI, then you accordingly you can give the marks. Another extent of system and review and meta-analysis. So the focus here on the rational and the project derived at based on the research gap identified, means kind of PRA. So if extensive review coupled with critical analysis is there, then you go for the 9 or 10 score. And if neither review nor critical analysis is done, then you go for the 1 and 2. So such kind of extent of system of expert review is also there. Then effective control to the experiments. How you can go for the effective control of the experiments? All the required inputs, equipments, manpower and funds available before start of the project is there. You can go for the team has full control, means how all the team members they are in the full control, means they are all they are participating in the research process. So team requires partial support from the section, from the physical facility, partial dependent on others. So such kind of marking you can give. Then economic evaluation and cost efficiency analysis. Project score should be kind of you are getting the benefit cost ratio and all this you have to calculate. And if it is more than 2, then go for 9 to 10 marks. And how appropriately the expected output answers, what kind of research you are going to do. Is it giving the all kind of your questions answers are will be there in that one, more appropriate or less appropriate, you accordingly you can mark that one. So by taking this all criteria of priority setting, we have seen that how we have to prioritize the projects. Then By accordingly this score of criteria priority setting, we can score our project, how much marks you can give your doing your all kind of evolution of the priority setting. Then you have to start the preparation of proposals, means research project proposals you have to prepare. Title should be clear, concise, self-explanatory. Justification, objective, organization, governance, strategy and methods, plan of action, including the methodology, tools, techniques, schedule of activities. What you know, everyone, you are knowing that when you are framing any project, you are giving the year-wise year, the this year, these will be the active scientists will involve, and these kind of activities you will do this year, in next year, kind of how much years project is there. Resources, what kind of resources required, you have to show in the project proposal. Then budget, both headwise, kind of recurring, non-recurring, traveling, or any other head which is you are having. Objectively variable indicators you have to give there. How you will verify your projects? So indicators should be there. Suppose any project is there on the development of some biotic resistant varieties or abiotic sources. So you give that two kind of germplasm we will registered with the abiotic stress. So such kind of indicators should be there. Expected output, various forms to be specified in the measurable terms. Any output should be in the measurable. Then now the proposal, after submission of the proposal, you have to go for the review of the proposal, and after reviewing, you have to reformulation of the proposal. The developed proposal need to reviewed in terms of relevance, feasibility and scientific quality, and after that you go for the reformulation of the proposal, which correcting all kind of corrections will be there. So approval of proposals and allocation of researches, that criteria will be dependent on the relevance of the research, addressing the institute or national priority, rational justification, innovativeness expected, then appropriateness of design or technique, elements of bias addressed. So all we have earlier discussed. So you have to take all kind of these parameters, you have to think before you are making any kind of proposal. So prioritization is a very, very important part of the any project framing. Now another part after prioritization is the monitoring. Any project you have framed in different objectives. So not monitoring is there that after completion you will go for the monitoring. Monitoring will be in between also. So purpose of monitoring is to collection of information that will enable ongoing decision making regarding activities and progress. So in between, if you are completing any objective, or if your any objective is in the process, you can also go for the monitoring. Documentation of input usage and activities carried out, that is also for the purpose that go for the monitoring. Then what instruments you require for the monitoring, that is the progress report. Means many times in many projects you require monthly, 3 monthly, quarterly, means quarterly or half yearly reports you have to submit. So there are progress reports are there, technical and physical progresses you can see in there. Internal reviews are there, some many meetings are there in an institute, you can show your progress there also. External reviews, when some external after completion of some objective or after completion of some particular target, you go for the external reviews also. And the components of monitoring will be the collection of relevant information, processing and analysis of collected information, then decision making based on information collected, and the action plan development. So these are the particular components of the monitoring. Users of monitoring are the researchers. Who are the users of monitoring? Or project team, project leader, research managers, and or funding agencies. These are the monitoring users are there. So this is the how the monitoring is there, and how you will implement the monitoring in the research projects. Again, the scoring is there, very perfect indicators given there for the monitoring, as you have seen in the prioritization also. So what activities you have planned? After completion, you start your project, and now it's the part of monitoring. So suppose one part is that number of lab experiments you have established, then you have to take these kind of field trials. So how much target you have achieved, means you suppose you achieved 70%, so accordingly you give your marks. If more than 75%, 8 to 10. 50 to 75%, you give only 5 to 7, kind of such you have to give the marking. Then data collection documentation. You have planned and you have laid out your experiment, but you have not collected timely data. So the timely data collection is also important. So variable for which data to be collected, types of analysis, records to be kept, means everything is there. So you have to mark again for that how much work you have done, percent, and accordingly you have to mark the number. Another is the publication. After collection of data, not in between the project, after completion of the project, how much publications are there in between. Also there some long run projects are there, so you can take the publications in between also. So research papers in peer reviewed journals, reports, manuals, presentations, and bulletins, kind of such. How much numbers are there, how much you have achieved. You have planned kind of that we have to take 3 publications before completion, and you have taken 2 publications, so you have taken 66% target you have achieved. So accordingly you mark for that one also. Then process, product, produce, technology, technique, software, knowledge developed, refined, evolved, means anything what you got from that objective or get from that project for monitoring. It is the number of process, products which produce, technology which developed, any software, any knowledge developed, refinement in any technology, that accordingly how much percent it is there, you accordingly mark that one. Then your question which you have taken during the prioritization, number of planned, how much questions you have planned in RPP1 when you are submitting the project. At that time, how much questions you have now answered, means only 50% questions you are answered. So accordingly, you can give the marks. Another one is the trainings, demonstrations are organized. Means any project which is also having some extension functionality is also there, or some kind of capacity building programs also there, kind of frontline demonstrations like that. So how much you have planned and how much you have done, that will also given the marks. Trainings attended, means for particular kind of research you have to require your own capacity building, and you have planned that one training I have to take duration during this project time, and you have taken that one, so accordingly you give the marks. Workshop, seminar, conference attended where you have presented your research works, that can given the marks. So this is your own scoring, how you give your own scoring. But when you go for any evaluator, when your project is going to any evaluator for the monitoring, it is for the monitoring. So kind of relevance of the research question, addressing the priorities, new innovations. So are kind of your prioritization to monitoring, it is taking all kind of your evaluation, and you can sum up that how much score is coming there. Then third part of the PME is the evaluation. You have planned prioritization, proposal you have prepared, you have monitored your project regularly. Then you come to the evaluation of the results and impact. What results you have got in the project. So principle of evaluation is that it will be more effective if adequate monitoring, means second part was much important when you are evaluating. If you are not having sufficient data or sufficient observations, the evaluation will be not effective. So for effective, it is required the adequate monitoring, recording and information mechanism, and it has to situate the activity in the institutional, social, economic context in which it is carried out, and it must clearly bring out the extent of achievement, how much you have achieved from that one, what score you have planned in prioritization, and what score you have get in the final evaluation. So this is one of the important thing for the principles of evaluation. And the evaluations are from very easy to hard evaluations are there. So ongoing evaluation during the course of project implementations, means kind of objective wise evaluations are there. Final evaluation after completion is there. So these two kind of evaluations are there. Then methods, one is the valid, sound and correct should be there, credible, high quality and acceptable, it will be feasible. Then where this use of evaluation is there, this is used for the results of public accountability and use of results to improve management and decision making by the research managers. So this is all about the evaluation, how you will evaluate your projects. So your focus of evaluation should be on the relevance of the objective set. In the RPP1, that is in the prioritization part where you have submitted your project, the relevance of objective set, is it clear with that of your, you are, when you are evaluating that one, you are getting that one? Achievement of the objectives for the project effectiveness, appropriateness of the design and methods followed, then contribution to overall knowledge in the research area. These all are the focus of evaluation should be there. Adoption and use of information technology generated, we have to focus in this also. Lesson learned from the project and recommendations for the future research. You have not completing, by completing a one research project, you are close the research of that particular thing. So what kind of recommendation for your future research will be there, that this part you have completed, and in future this research can carried out in such a way. So this kind of recommendation should be there in the evaluation focus. So now again there is a performa for evaluation of the projects, and when criteria we will take, and qualitative and quantitative assessment will be there. So achievements against approved and stipulated output under the projects. What kind of achievements are there which already approved? So project output achieved, how much percent it is attained? More than 90%, you score 10 marks. If it is less than 60, then you mark 1 to 3. So such kind of score is there for your output. Then extent to which standard design methodology, experimental design, test procedure, analytical methods followed. This is from your RPP1 research project file that you submitted in very early, that is for prioritization. So it is, if it is fully followed with the RPP1, you have not make any kind of modification, it is 8 to 10 marks. Any modification is there 5 to 7. In between, if you go for any major modification, means what you have submitted earlier, and you have changed totally the methodology, then it will be score 2. So this is extent to which the data justify the conclusion. What conclusion you have made and how it is justified with your data. That how much percent is there, accordingly you can score the output. Innovativeness and creating of new knowledge processes, protocols. What kind of innovativeness you have developed? Highly innovative, it was only innovative, or very routine. So such kind of score you can put in output. Creation of linkages for commercialization of technology. Many times when is technology which are completing a project, you have developed some kind of, find some kind of new strain of trichoderma which is controlling many soil-borne pathogens. So you go for the commercialization before completion or completion of the project. So how it is commercializing the technology, how much technology you have developed which is going for the commercialization. So kind of such very good linkages created, leads more found linkages. Extent of which scientific input commensurate to output manpower, that you can also give the scoring. Then publication and award, second part is there. So how much research papers you have developed, book chapter, bulletin, or any kind of scientific recognition is there. So by that you can give the scores, indicating more than 6, or 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone there is score is there. So it is not there that if you are completing any project and just keep it to submission of the project file, that RPP3 you have submitted. You have to go for its research publication. In between, what kind of other publications you have done relevant to that research project or from research project, that should be indicated in this score. Additional facilities you have created and maintained. Suppose a wide trust screening we are doing in the field condition, and in a project we have developed a artificial screening technique where we can done in a controlled condition, and that controlled condition is the additional facility we have created in the institute. So this will be the additional facility which is created with the project. So in terms of laboratory, research setup, instrumentation, suppose 3 new instruments you have purchased during this project. So this also is scored in the output, additional facility you have created. What kind of HRD, human resource development of scientist or technical person which are trained in different areas, particularly in the project, that should be also scored. Then training imparted means any technology you have developed from your project which is useful for farmers, and you have given the number of demonstration to farmers or given the capacity building of the farmers. So doing this training to other stakeholders, that is also given in the score. Then teamwork, there where you can inter or intra-institutional is there. Suppose 2 institutes, 3 institutes are involved, that is also team. And what kind of codely working, or there will be conflict differences were there. So jointly if they are working, achieve the target, then teamwork was sound and its score goes to 9 to 10. Jointly they have worked, but the target partially achieved, means some has done good, some has not done good. So such kind of things are also there. So accordingly we can score the points. Then revenue generated. Suppose some technology is there and you have generated some revenue from the project. So that is also scored marks. Then product, process, technology, IPR, commercial value, or technology developed, that also got the score into the two or more parameters you have achieved, or one parameter you have achieved, kind of any kind of product, process, or technology you have registered, or that one. Quality of available documents of the project duly authenticated. Research RPP files you have submitted, timely reports you have submitted, data reports you have prepared well, that will also scored. So budget utilization. Suppose you have got the 100 lakhs project, and in last you when the project is closing, you have having a saving of 20 lakhs rupees. So this is not a good. You have to use the budget tool, because in RPP1 when you have prioritize your research, you have taken justify the budget and you have taken the budget. So you have to use the how much percentage of budget you have utilized, that will also score. So entire budget we have to utilize, and the timeliness of the execution of the timely if completed. Suppose it was planned for 3 years and you are completing in 3 years, and again 3 months you are taking due to some any reasons. So this is also scored that it is completed on timely. Or so by this 10 points are there, and maximum 10 score is there, so it is total score is 100. So in 100 how much you are getting in your project? 80 and above, it's excellent. Then in between 70 to 79, very good, and less than 50, it is below average. By such you can evaluate your projects. So we are having all kind of performance is there, prioritization, monitoring, evolution is there. Then this is the part where after completion of the project, measuring the research. So our research is measured in the kind of technology you have developed or process you have developed through journals or individuals. How much impact factor journals are there, their 5-year impact factor, immediate index, site score. So these all are the, other than the PME part, how we can go for the research publications where our measuring of our research is there. Some externally funded research projects where we require different kinds of training consultancy, contract research, kind of sponsorship, contract services. So everywhere we have to make some kind of performance are there for RPP1, RPP2, RPP3. We have to submit for externally sponsored, grant in aid, or collaborative, all kind of projects. We have to submit such kind of externally funded research. So for in-house projects, for our own externally funded projects, we have to submit all these documents in the ICR system. So in my concluding slide, it is there that what PME, prioritization, monitoring and evaluation is focus. It is strengthen the in-house research. Means if you are taking any research for the PhD student or MSc student, you take all kind of priorities. Suppose in a particular university area, a particular vegetable is limited in some pocket, kind of 100 hectares only, 50 hectares only, and no extension or expansion of crop is there in that area, particular crop, and you are taking the research of that particular crop or particular abiotic biotic stress of that crop for the student. So that kind of research is not fit for the RPP1 or prioritization. You take the kind of prioritization on the national level, then you go for the documents of your university vision, your any institute vision, and go for your own institute vision, what you have taken for 2030, 2050, what we have to go for the any research prioritization. So prioritization is very much essential. So it is strengthen the in-house research. It facilitates consultancy services. It promotes externally funded contract research, then enhance the visibility publication in high impact factor journals. If a good research will be there with a good prioritization monitoring, then its publication will also in the good impact factors. It's aligned with the research, in tune with the EFC, your document where from your budget is coming. So what commitment you are giving in EFC, so that commitment and recommendations from various advisories that comes in the EFC, where you are supposing to take 5 years budget is there. So that recommendations you are meet out, and your research will be aligned with that particular. So prioritization monitoring evaluation is a cell also. It is a unit in the ICR institutes and in different other institutes, scientific and non-scientific institutes, where we have to do prioritization. So today, what any kind of kitchen what you are going to prepare, you also prioritize what kind of prioritization. Today sweet will be there or today snacks will be there. So you will prioritize, and the prioritization in the life is very essential. And in the particularly in the research, if you prioritize your research and score accordingly, you will find a great impact in your research, and it will also strengthen our country's kind of research in all kind of ways. So thank you very much. And actually my meeting, another meeting is also there. So I have taken some early this lecture, and I supposed to more half an hour, but thank you very much.
Sir, can we take some questions?
Yeah, sure.
Now the meeting is open for taking questions. Please ask any questions you may have. Participants are requested to ask any questions if they have any. Yes, Dr. Dushyant.
Yes, sir. I am audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. One of my question is that how to prioritize the research project when we have 2 or 3 project on the basis of funding amount, or on the basis of research area?
I think it will be on the research area. We have to prioritize our research on the research area. Prioritization should be on the research area, not from the budget.
Okay, sir. This is very nice lecture given by you, sir.
Thank you.
Hope all the participants have enjoyed a lot. Thank you, sir.
And
yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my request to all the participants that if someone require any kind of more information or anything, you can contact me on my mail. That is, if you want to write that one, PKS.
Just a minute, sir. Yes, sir.
PKS, Pune, Kanpur, Shimla, PKS, virus, virus, PKS virus,
yes, sir.
@
yes, sir.
at gmail.com.
Okay, sir.
And my number is 94142
yes, sir.
398 31. It's for WhatsApp also.
Sure.
So you all are welcome anytime. And
I've shared your email as well as your phone number on chat. They can copy it from chat also.
Sir, so repeat the phone number, please.
94142 39831.
Any other questions? Hello?
Sir.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, sir. Sir, my question is that you were talking about evaluation of projects. How can
Yeah.
we predict the priority shifts which result from project failure, or sometimes there is uncertainty of meeting the deadlines? So how do we evaluate projects then?
Then we can go for objective wise. Suppose you have framed 5 objectives was there in the 3 years. So you completed, if 3 objectives you have completed and 2 are in the progress. So you can evaluate your 3 objective wise, you can evaluate your objectives also. And
Okay, sir.
that can be externally also evaluated.
Okay, so we have
Before-
to adjust the urgent or important tasks
Yeah, yes.
earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
So in between you can modify your methodology also, your objectives also. If some by taking all kind of permission from your institute committees or your from external funding agency, you can write them and you can modify with kind of a request.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any further
Sir,
questions?
One of my another question is that how to evaluate our project when we have also in that project a training modules, training for the farmers like that.
Mhm.
So how we can evaluate that training also, sir? If there
I
is any
think-
set to farmer or other things.
No, that if you want to, your project is totally on the capacity building or extension is there. So many developed performa is there for that, particularly to taking the capacity building of farmers. Otherwise, if in scientific project in some part is there that if some technology you disseminated to farmers or demonstrated to farmers, you just take how much percent they have adopted, how much learned they have. So there is no particular kind of a performa is there, but by taking the help of KVKs, you can go for that extension work to take the observations.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question, please? Any other question? Sir, I would like to thank you on behalf of NADCL as well as on behalf of all the participants in this lecture. It was a nice and fruitful lecture for all of us. And regarding the monitoring and evaluation part, it was very well shown in your presentations. Thank you, sir. Thank you a lot for
Thank you,
taking
Majid.
this.
Thank you very
sir.
much.
Sir, you can leave the call, and also can you share it the presentation on email with us so that I'll be making it part of their video on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your presentation. Thank you a lot. You can leave the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You can click on the call drop icon, leave call icon at the bottom. Also bond while eating, keep your mouth shut.